why curiosity is everything in tech and cybersecurity. So, if we're keeping it real, threats evolve every day. We know this. We illustrate this in what we break down. Now, the tools that we use are also evolving every month. And if you're not aware of the latest features in your solution that you're using at work, maybe see about getting with someone that can provide you with those updates because these tools typically are updated month over month. But what doesn't evolve are or is people who are not curious. And those are the folks who get left behind fast. So when we think about curiosity, it literally is the engine of every strong career. It's the difference between someone who just does the job and someone who stands out. Somebody who's leveling up, somebody who's solving problems. Basically the person everybody calls when things go left. A lot of us work with people like this on a day-to-day basis. You know who you can call to ask a question to. You know who's going to have the answer. You know who's going to support you. Now, what does a curious person look like in this industry? A curious person is someone who is always asking why instead of just accepting what is actually in front of them. They are playing with tools outside of work, whether that's labs, scripts, they're in cloud tenants, demos. They're breaking things on purpose just to see how they work. They're not scared to try new features, commands, or technologies. They're not waiting for someone to hand them a roadmap. They are the ones that are going to go find the answers. They're staying hungry. They're taking notes. They're reading threat reports. They're watching updates. These people become those problem solvers, not the task doers. Now, someone who isn't curious is someone who only touches what's in their job description. How many times have you heard somebody at work say, that's not in my job description? They never ask deep questions. They do copy and paste engineering, and they panic when something breaks because they never explored how it actually worked. Maybe they get stuck at that analyst level because they don't stretch themselves far or wide enough. They learned enough just to get by. Now, what we can see between the difference between the two is that one of them is growing, the other one is staying comfortable. And comfort is the fastest way to fall behind. Now, how curiosity levels you up in your career is it becomes your cheat code. It naturally pushes you into better problem solving. You ask better questions. You get better answers. Faster skill growth. You explore what others potentially could be avoiding. And confidence. You've seen enough systems break to know how to fix them. You also may be presented with more opportunities. Leaders love self-starters. And innovation. You become the person with new ideas and more resilient. When something goes wrong, you don't freeze, you start to investigate. So a lot of people think that cyber is just about memorizing tools, but it's not. It's about thinking, exploring, and getting curious. So a curious mindset is what lets you pivot from analyst to engineer to architect. Maybe you can try different tools. Maybe you're not just focused in on one area of security. Maybe you are like, oh, I want to do networking and I want to learn how to code. But picking up new certs, skill sets without actually being scared. Curious people don't want to be told what to learn. They're actually following wherever the sparks are and what interests them. So I just kind of want to talk a little bit about being curious because a lot of people want to work in this industry just because they want to make money and they're not curious and they're not serious and they don't want to put the work and they don't want to put the time in. And with the climate that we see today, cyber is an industry that's built for people who are curious. It just is what it is. If you're not curious, this is not the field for you. The people who stay curious become the trendsetters, the innovators, the troubleshooters, the people who grow faster and who are able to grow and advance their career more. So that's my TED Talk of the day, is to think to yourself, are you curious? And are you not curious because this isn't something that you're actually interested in?
Yeah. And that goes into the age-old conundrum where...
Okay, Wale.
No, it's something I was thinking about the other day. A comment. There was... I chopped up like all our videos, like our best topics last week. And
I saw you going hammer.
Yeah. I said I'm going to just start running it like any other big podcast. Like I said, shoot, if Club Shay Shay and Nightcap could do it, why we can't? But anyway, they were getting distraught about the job search process. And one woman was saying how like she'd been jobless for years. She's going to try to be a nurse. And I always find issue with that because I'm like, that's an important job. And you can't want to do nursing just because you get paid, because it ain't an easy job. It ain't easy to get through nursing school and clinicals.
School ain't easy, yeah. But a lot of people do that, though. A lot of people do that.
But that's how we have these nurses with horrible attitudes that don't like their job.
Yep.
And I feel like those one of those jobs you got to be made to do.
Just like this one
If
here.
not, figure out how to do some in administration. Not when you got to deal with people, because we don't want that. And this goes back into what you're talking about with being curious with your career. The money is a good focal point, but
it's okay for you to do it for the money. But if you're going to do it for the money, you still got to be curious.
You got to be curious, but eventually the money not going to hold you long enough. You got to find something in it that you like.
Something that's passionate. There has to be some passion there, because it's going to get
I'm not even going to say super passionate, right? I'm super.
You ain't got to be in love.
I'm going to tell you, like, I really like cybersecurity, but I don't think cybersecurity has me the way I have about like in making content and media. Like when I know I'm getting ready to record, I'm happy. I can't sleep. I have a boost of energy. Like I wake up early or whatever, or when I'm doing
You
my
ready
stuff.
to knock it down?
Yeah. Like, so I'm not that passionate about it, but I really like cybersecurity a lot because it intertwines with everybody's life. And I see what happens with it when people don't do it. And anything that you see, like, it's not cyber related, you kind of.
Well, yes. Okay, let me be clear. You don't have to be head over heels in love with it, but you can't come in and think that you're going to do the bare minimum and be successful in an ever-changing industry. You got to have some spark in you.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about it changes so much. So
because 5 years ago, we wasn't talking about AI for real. Like there were people that were talking about it, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing where you start seeing the old people who've been at the company long enough, and sometimes they just getting by. Mm-hmm. But eventually get to the point where it's like, okay, you either gonna have to keep learning or what. And that's one of the things that it's hard to do. Like, it's hard. Like, there are people where they started their career like in the 90s or whatever. So they've been in information security almost 30 years now. They had to keep on learning different things. They started off on Windows 95 or before that with floppy disk and dial up, and now they learn these different things, or there's attacks that they weren't doing when they were coming out, and they had to keep on learning how to get better at it. I mean, now the one thing is true though, the fundamentals don't change. Just the attacks are different.
Absolutely.
So that's what I would say. I would just say you have to keep on looking like me. Like I should have been had my CSP a long time ago.
Same.
But I got my trial with O'Reilly. And I say, hey, every whatever hour someone do, I'm going to do 25 questions on the practice test so I can figure out what domains on weekend and just study them. So that is how, like, I'm keeping up, like, because technically, if you got the knowledge, the CISP is just one of the things where if you got it on your resume and it's done, you probably, I'm not going to say it's going to give you $200K, but if you got the experience coupled with it, most of the time you'll be allowed to get sent in for like those management director level, senior director, senior manager, all those type of roles. You're going to see most of those people in information security got at least a CISSP, and then you may see a CISM or something like that. But yeah, that's just a little another like thing of like how you just, like if you're going to get certs, make sure they enhance your career, make sure they line up with what you want to do long term. Versus some people try to go get they've been doing help desk like 3, 4, 5 years. Granted, I think you only need like 2 or I forgot how many domains experience in to do the CISSP, but somebody got to sign off on it. But the difference is sometimes that don't help you get to the bread versus the person that got the 10, 15 years in cyber and got the CISSP and degrees and everything else. So
I think it's important. Everybody is not curious, right? And so everybody should not have a nursing job, a tech job, or whatever it may be. But if you are struggling and you feel like, I just think I'm a regular, I'm really not, I just want to do the same thing every day, then you need to go work in customer service or something similar. Something where you have a script. This is how you answer this question every day. And it's not for everybody, and it's no sneak diss.
I would say that, but however, we already know, +1 for English, 2 for Spanish. You can't even really do a lot of customer service jobs no more because AI bots and took over most of that job.
Yeah.
You got to say agent when you call.
You got to press 0 or star or
representative, person.
As soon as the phone get on, before they even ask in the language, customer service.
You know what's funny? If you've ever did help
But-
desk or customer service, when they trying to give you a script on like how to do something, like I've did this before, I already know what I've did. I don't need none of that. I know the problem. Like just fix that. Don't try to give me all this stuff on your script.
Yeah, like, or I guess, tier 1 SOC role, they have stops, right? That they are, but like, there are roles that will tell you step by step what to do, but those are not the roles that are going to take you where you want to go long term. Is what I'm saying. You have to be able to think bigger than what this document is telling you to do. Now you know what to do. What's next?
Honestly, I really believe that eventually, I'm not going to say SOCs will be no more, but they are gradually graduating them from being security operations centers to just plain old security analysts. Because you do so many different things.
You do a lot of different things.
You do stuff with phishing. You do stuff with insider threat. You do stuff with GRC. You do your incident response. You do some threat hunting. You may work with threat detection. At this point, you really are a security analyst. You're not really just working in the SOC. And that's how anything, all those SOPs that's click here, click here, click here, click here, all those could be automated.
That's what I'm saying.
So
you don't got to be.
Those should be automated. They're very mundane and tedious. Those should be automated to reduce human error.
Yeah.
And you just got to, validate that the data is good.